The 911 call that wasn't. Loosely inspired by multiple real incidents, including a 911 call from an abandoned house in Chicago and the 2015 silent call from an empty apartment. It was a quiet Tuesday night when dispatch operator Elise Bennett received a call that changed her life. The screen read, "Incoming call, 911, line secure. Location, 542, Whitmore Avenue. Registered owner, property foreclosure/vacant. 911, what's your emergency?" she asked calmly. At first, no response. Then, faint static. And behind it, something else, a whisper. A woman's voice. Breathing hard. Like she was hiding. "He's still in the house." Elise sat up straight. "Ma'am, can you confirm your location?" More breathing. Then a soft whimper. "Please, help me." The line cut out. Protocol dictated she dispatch officers immediately, so she did. 2 units en route within 90 seconds. She checked the address again, 542 Whitmore. She recognized it. That house had been vacant for years. She tried to call back. Straight to a dead line. 10 minutes later, the responding officers called in from the scene. "No one here," the officer said. "Doors are locked. Dust everywhere. Windows boarded. Looks like no one's been here in years." "You're sure?" Elise asked, goosebumps rising. "Positive. Place is empty." "But..." The officer paused. "What is it?" Elise pressed. "There's a phone. Landline. It's still connected. Old rotary style. But the weird thing? It's off the hook. Like someone just used it." Elise felt her stomach drop. "There's more," the officer added. "There's writing on the wall. In the dust. Fresh. Like someone used their finger. He's still in the house. They swept the house 3 times. Found no one. No prints. Nothing disturbed, except that phone, and the message in the dust. The call was logged. Investigated. Archived." 3 nights later, Elise was working the night shift again. Another call came in. Line secure. Address, 542, Whitmore Avenue. This time, all she heard was laughter. Male. Deep. Guttural. Then a single word. Elise. She quit the next day. The file remains open. The call recordings still exist. But 542 Whitmore has no phone service. Hasn't in years. And no one has ever been found inside. The 911 call that wasn't. Loosely inspired by multiple real incidents, including a 911 call from an abandoned house in Chicago and the 2015 silent call from an empty apartment. It was a quiet Tuesday night when dispatch operator Elise Bennett received a call that changed her life. The screen read, "Incoming call, 911, line secure. Location, 542, Whitmore Avenue. Registered owner, property foreclosure/vacant. 911, what's your emergency?" she asked calmly. At first, no response. Then, faint static. And behind it, something else, a whisper. A woman's voice. Breathing hard. Like she was hiding. "He's still in the house." Elise sat up straight. "Ma'am, can you confirm your location?" More breathing. Then a soft whimper. "Please, help me." The line cut out. Protocol dictated she dispatch officers immediately, so she did. 2 units en route within 90 seconds. She checked the address again, 542 Whitmore. She recognized it. That house had been vacant for years. She tried to call back. Straight to a dead line. 10 minutes later, the responding officers called in from the scene. "No one here," the officer said. "Doors are locked. Dust everywhere. Windows boarded. Looks like no one's been here in years." "You're sure?" Elise asked, goosebumps rising. "Positive. Place is empty." "But..." The officer paused. "What is it?" Elise pressed. "There's a phone. Landline. It's still connected. Old rotary style. But the weird thing, it's off the hook. Like someone just used it." Elise felt her stomach drop. "There's more," the officer added. "There's writing on the wall. In the dust. Fresh. Like someone used their finger. He's still in the house. They swept the house 3 times. Found no one. No prints. Nothing disturbed, except that phone and the message in the dust. The call was logged. Investigated. Archived." 3 nights later, Elise was working the night shift again. Another call came in. Line secured. Address, 542, Whitmore Avenue. This time, all she heard was laughter. Male. Deep. Guttural. Then a single word. Elise. She quit the next day. The file remains open. The call recordings still exist. But 542 Whitmore has no phone service. Hasn't in years. And no one has ever been found inside. Knock, knock. No one's there. Inspired by accounts of recurring unexplained door knocks, like those posted to r/paranormal and real police reports. It started on a Thursday night. Michael, a 34-year-old electrician from Oregon, was home alone watching TV around 11:30 p.m. when he heard 3 sharp knocks on his front door. Knock. 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 He paused his show. Waited. Nothing else followed. He opened the door. No one was there. The porch was still. Empty. Weird, but not unheard of. The next night, it happened again. Knock. 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 This time, closer to midnight. Again, he opened the door immediately. No one. The 3rd night, he was ready. He left his porch light on and installed a motion-activated camera, just in case. He waited, TV on low volume, nerves on edge. At 12:02 a.m. Knock. 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 He rushed to the door. Opened it in one swift motion. Nothing. He checked the footage. The motion sensor didn't trigger. No one approached the porch. No bugs. No wind. No sound. But the camera recorded the audio of the knocks. Loud. Clear. Deliberate. He posted the footage online. Some said it was pranksters. Others joked about ghosts. One comment stood out. "If it happens a 4th time, don't answer. Just listen." On night 4, Michael didn't open the door. He just sat and waited. At 12:05 a.m., the knocks came. Knock. 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 Then silence. Then, breathing. Right on the other side of the door. He stood, frozen. Didn't move. The breathing continued for a full 30 seconds, growing heavier, closer. Then something whispered. "Let me in." Michael backed away. Ran to his bedroom. Locked the door. The next morning, everything seemed normal, until he checked the front door. There were scratches on the wood. Like fingernails. Deep. Fresh. He deleted the footage. Called the police. They came, checked everything. Said it might have been an animal. But Michael knew better. Because that night, the knocks didn't come at the front door. They came from inside the house. Knock. 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 Right outside his bedroom. He moved out 2 days later. Knock, knock. No one's there. Inspired by accounts of recurring unexplained door knocks, like those posted to r/paranormal and real police reports. It started on a Thursday night. Michael, a 34-year-old electrician from Oregon, was home alone watching TV around 11:30 p.m. when he heard 3 sharp knocks on his front door. Knock. 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 He paused his show. Waited. Nothing else followed. He opened the door. No one was there. The porch was still. Empty. Weird, but not unheard of. The next night, it happened again. Knock. 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 This time, closer to midnight. Again, he opened the door immediately. No one. The third night, he was ready. He left his porch light on and installed a motion-activated camera, just in case. He waited, TV on low volume, nerves on edge. At 12:02 a.m. Knock. 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 He rushed to the door. Opened it in one swift motion. Nothing. He checked the footage. The motion sensor didn't trigger. No one approached the porch. No bugs. No wind. No sound. But the camera recorded the audio of the knocks. Loud. Clear. Deliberate. He posted the footage online. Some said it was pranksters. Others joked about ghosts. One comment stood out. If it happens a 4th time, don't answer. Just listen. On night 4, Michael didn't open the door. He just sat and waited. At 12:05 a.m., the knocks came. Knock. 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 Then silence. Then, breathing. Right on the other side of the door. He stood, frozen. Didn't move. The breathing continued for a full 30 seconds, growing heavier, closer. Then something whispered. "Let me in." Michael backed away. Ran to his bedroom. Locked the door. The next morning, everything seemed normal, until he checked the front door. There were scratches on the wood. Like fingernails. Deep. Fresh. He deleted the footage. Called the police. They came, checked everything. Said it might have been an animal. But Michael knew better. Because that night, the knocks didn't come at the front door. They came from inside the house. Knock. 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 Right outside his bedroom. He moved out 2 days later. The lift that skipped a floor. Inspired by real elevator mysteries, most notably the Elisa Lam case at the Cecil Hotel. Julie had always been scared of elevators. Small spaces. Nowhere to run if something went wrong. But her new job was on the 14th floor of a downtown building, and she didn't have much choice. It started on her 3rd week. She worked late, deadlines piling up, and took the elevator alone around 9:45 p.m. Just as she reached out to hit the 14 button, the panel lit up on its own. But it didn't go to 14. It went to 12. A floor she didn't select. The elevator doors slid open. Pitch black. No lights on the floor. No signs of movement. No sound. She pressed the closed door button and tried again. This time it went to 14 like normal. She told herself it was a glitch. The next night, it did the same thing. But this time, when the doors opened on 12, she saw someone standing in the dark. Just a shape. No features. No face. Still watching. She slammed the close button. Nothing happened. The figure stepped forward. Suddenly, the doors shut. The elevator rocketed upward. Julie ran straight out when it reached her floor. She didn't use the elevator for a week. Then came the night it skipped every floor. She stayed even later than usual, close to midnight. The building was empty. She debated taking the stairs, but exhaustion won. She stepped in. Pressed G. The elevator didn't move. Every light on the panel flickered. Then went dark. Then a chime sounded. The doors opened to a hallway she'd never seen before. It looked unfinished. Concrete. Flickering fluorescent lights. Exposed wires. Graffiti on the walls. There was no such floor in the building plans. And at the end of the hallway, someone stepped into view. Wearing a hotel uniform. From a different decade. He smiled and said, "Welcome back, Miss Julie." She slammed the close button. It didn't respond. The figure walked toward her, footsteps echoing. Finally, the doors began to shut. As they closed, she saw him raise his hand, and press it against the glass. His palm left a bloody handprint. She reported it the next day. They checked the footage. But the cameras glitched. For exactly 3 minutes and 17 seconds, all footage from the 14th floor elevator was corrupted. Just static. And one faint audio signature. A man whispering her name. Julie quit that job the next week. No one has been able to recreate what happened in that elevator. And no one can explain what floor she actually visited. The Babysitter Cam. Inspired by true stories where home security footage revealed disturbing intruders or unexplained events. Marissa was a part-time babysitter for a couple in a quiet neighborhood just outside Denver. Nice family. 2 kids. Good pay. One thing she appreciated was how chill the parents were, just put the kids to bed and relax. They had a nanny cam in the living room, a little bear-shaped camera on a high shelf. Not exactly subtle, but they told her up front, just for peace of mind. We don't watch unless something happens. Nothing ever did. Until one night, it did. She was watching Netflix on her laptop after the kids had gone to sleep when her phone buzzed. Motion detected, living room camera. She was in the living room. She checked her phone. The alert had a thumbnail, a still frame from the camera feed. It showed her, sitting on the couch. But standing behind her, partially in frame, was a man. Tall. Pale. Wearing dark clothes. She spun around. No one was there. She stood up, heart racing, and checked every room. The kids were still sleeping soundly. Doors locked. Windows sealed. No sign of anyone. She chalked it up to a glitch. A frozen frame from an earlier day. Still, it bothered her. The next morning, she told the parents about it. They looked concerned, but they brushed it off. It's probably a software issue. 3 days later, it happened again. This time she got a live motion alert at 2:43 a.m., but she wasn't babysitting that night. She was at home. She opened the app. The feed was dark, grainy, but active. And then, something moved. A shadow. No, a person. Walking past the camera. Slowly. Deliberately. Toward the kid's bedroom. She called the police. They arrived within 7 minutes. The front door was locked from the inside. Nothing broken. The kids were unharmed. The parents were confused. Nothing had been taken. No one had been found. But the footage was there. It showed a man entering the frame from the hallway. He walked toward the kids' room. Stopped. looked up at the camera, directly at it, and smiled. He held something in his hand. A knife. The video then cut to static for the next 11 minutes. That was the last thing ever recorded on that nanny cam. They changed the locks. Installed an alarm. Police suspected an intruder, maybe a squatter. But the house was fully sealed. When the parents reviewed the archived footage going back months, they noticed something worse. That same man had appeared 6 times before. Always at night. Always just after the kids went to sleep. Never noticed, until the alerts. The strangest part. Each time he entered the frame, he would lean into the camera and whisper something. Audio was muffled, but one word was always the same. Soon. The Static Room. Inspired by real accounts of secret rooms, strange basement noises, and electromagnetic disturbances reported in haunted homes. Nathan had just bought his first house. It was old, creaky, and full of potential, a fixer-upper in a quiet Pennsylvania town. He was excited to get started, especially on the basement, which hadn't been touched in decades. One afternoon, while knocking out a rotted wall behind the furnace, Nathan's sledgehammer punched through into empty space. Behind it wasn't brick, it was another room. No door. No window. No records of it on the roof. Inside, it was pitch black. He shone his flashlight in and froze. The room was lined entirely with metal sheeting, every wall, floor to ceiling. The only thing inside was a vintage box TV, plugged in and humming softly, even though the house's electricity hadn't reached that room. It was tuned to static. Nathan stepped inside, his boots echoing off the metal. The temperature dropped instantly. As he moved closer to the TV, the static began to change. From white noise, to whispers. Faint at first. Then clearer. Nathan. He yanked the plug. The screen stayed on. The whispers continued, layered voices overlapping, like dozens of people speaking at once, just beneath the static. He backed out. Sealed the wall with plywood. Didn't sleep that night. The next day, every TV in his house, even the ones unplugged, turned on at 3 a.m. All to static. All whispering his name. He invited an electrician friend to investigate. The wiring was normal. No power surge. But when his friend entered the metal-lined room, something strange happened. The man went quiet. Stared at the TV. Then he said, "They're not inside the room. They're using it." Nathan pulled him out. His friend never came back. Over the next week, Nathan's behavior changed. He stopped answering his phone. Stopped leaving the house. Neighbors said they could hear a low droning sound, like static, coming from his basement at night. One night, the sound stopped. For good. A wellness check was called in. When police arrived, the entire house was silent. They found Nathan in the basement, sitting cross-legged in front of the now broken wall, staring at nothing. The hidden room was gone. No TV. No metal. Just dirt and insulation. Nathan didn't respond to questions. Didn't speak for 6 months. When he finally did, he only said one thing. "They're still watching. But now, it's from the inside." The Woman in the Shed. Based on real-life reports of stalkers, vagrants, and shadowy figures discovered living in sheds, sometimes for weeks without the homeowners knowing. Eli moved to the countryside to escape the noise of the city. His new house came with a large yard and a rusted old tool shed at the edge of the property. The realtor had mentioned it was locked, and the previous owner never left the key behind. "Probably full of junk," she said. For the first few weeks, everything was peaceful. Then one night, while taking out the trash, Eli noticed something strange. The light above the shed was on. It hadn't been wired for electricity. The next morning, the light was off again. He tried the shed door. Still locked. Curious now, he peeked through a crack in the wood. Dark inside. But he could just barely make out a chair. A mattress. Clothes. Someone had been living there. He called the police. They came, cut the padlock, and opened the shed. It was empty. But not clean. Blankets, water bottles, and photographs of Eli, taken from different angles around the property. Some while he was inside the house, standing at windows. Some while he was sleeping in bed. The worst one was from that morning. The timestamp was 3:48 a.m. It showed Eli asleep, with a hand pressed against his bedroom window. The police swept the area. Nothing. They set up a motion-triggered camera near the shed and told Eli to call if anything else happened. That night, he didn't sleep. At 2:17 a.m., the camera sent an alert. He opened the live feed. The woman was back. She stood barefoot in the grass, pale, eyes wide, long black hair covering her face. She stared directly into the lens. Then she whispered something. No audio, but her lips moved. Let me back in. Eli ran outside with a flashlight and a bat. The yard was empty. No footprints. No signs of disturbance. But when he checked the shed again, the mattress was warm. The police never found her. But every few months, the light in the shed turns on. Just for a few seconds. And each time it does, Eli finds a new photo under his welcome mat. The last one. It was taken inside his bedroom, from the foot of his bed. The crawl space. Inspired by true reports of intruders and unknown structures discovered under homes, like the infamous case of the man who secretly lived under a woman's house for weeks. Rachel had lived in her home for almost 4 years. Quiet street. Nice neighbors. Safe neighborhood. But in late autumn, she started hearing scratching beneath the floorboards. At first, she assumed mice. Then maybe raccoons. But pest control found nothing. Then the scratching turned into dragging sounds. One night, she heard something knock from underneath her bed. She pulled it away from the wall, expecting maybe a dropped phone, but instead she saw a small, perfectly circular hole in the floorboards. It hadn't been there before. The next morning, she pried up the planks. Beneath them was a narrow tunnel, dark and tight, leading down into a crawlspace she didn't know existed. She shone her flashlight down and froze. Eyes stared back at her. Not animal eyes. Human. She screamed, called the police, and backed out of the room. But by the time they arrived, the tunnel was empty. They searched the crawlspace and found signs of someone living there, a sleeping bag, empty food wrappers, a bucket, and photos of Rachel taken through vents and tiny cracks in the floor. One was a Polaroid. It showed Rachel sleeping, with a hand reaching up from the hole beneath her bed. They changed the locks. Installed a full alarm system. The crawlspace was filled in and sealed with concrete. Everything was quiet for 2 months. Then, one night at 3:11 a.m., Rachel woke to a soft thud in the hallway. She crept toward her bedroom door and opened it slowly. Down the hallway, right in front of the coat closet, she saw it. A new hole in the floor. Fresh wood splinters. A sharp smell of damp earth. Before she could move, she heard it again. Scratching. From inside the walls. To this day, Rachel doesn't know who was living under her house. Or how long they were there before she noticed. But sometimes, when the wind dies down and everything is still, she swears she can hear breathing from behind the drywall. And once, just once, she heard a voice whisper. "You're sleeping in my bed now." The third stair. Based on reports from homeowners who hear footsteps on stairs at the same time every night, and always stopping on the same step. Lena bought the old Victorian house with her inheritance after her parents passed. She loved the creaky charm, the stained glass windows, the wraparound porch. But the real estate agent had only one warning. The house is solid. But the stairs, they creak more than they should. Especially the third one. Lena smiled. That's fine. I like a little character. The first week passed peacefully. Then she noticed it. Every night at 3:03 a.m., the silence of the house would break with a sound. Creak. From the staircase. Always just one step. Always the third stair. She lived alone. There was no one to make that sound. One night, she stayed up, sitting in the hallway with a cup of tea and her phone camera rolling. At 3:03, right on cue. Creak. The third stair bent down, as if someone had just stepped on it. But no one was there. She replayed the footage. The air above the stairs shifted, like heat warping the space. Then came the sound. She poured flour on the stairs the next night. The next morning, she found a single footprint on the third step. Bare. Human. Wet. She asked the town library for any old information about her house. The librarian hesitated, then pulled out a thin manila folder. There was a girl who lived there in the 1950s. Went missing. They found her at the bottom of the stairs. No signs of trauma, just fear. They say she died of fright. Lena asked if the girl had ever spoken before she died. The librarian nodded. Only one thing. She kept saying, "He's still on the stairs." Lena installed motion sensor lights and a security system. She even placed a heavy toolbox on the third step. At 3:03 a.m. that night, the alarm tripped. The toolbox was on the floor. The third stair pressed down. She ran to the front door, but it was locked from the inside. And just before the lights went out, she saw something move at the top of the stairs. Not a shadow. A man, half there, flickering like an old film. He took one slow step down. Creak. Then he vanished. It still happens every night. Always the third stair. But lately, Lena's noticed a new pattern. The sound doesn't stop at one creak anymore. Now it goes. Creak, creak, creak. And each night, the last sound is one stair higher. He's climbing up. The night window. Based on true reports from apartment dwellers and high-rise tenants who claimed someone, or something, was watching them from outside their upper floor windows. Maya lived alone on the 14th floor of a secure apartment complex in Chicago. Her corner unit faced the lake, and one window in particular, tall, wide, and directly across from her bed, had the perfect view of the city lights. She never kept the curtains closed. There was no need. No one could see in from up there. Or so she thought. It started with a smudge. One morning, she noticed it, just a faint, oily smear across the outside of her bedroom window. Odd, considering there was no balcony. No ledge. Just open air and 14 floors of vertical drop. She figured maybe a bird hit the glass. That night, at 3 a.m., she woke up. Not suddenly. Not dramatically. She simply opened her eyes and felt, watched. Her room was dark. But the window, facing the city's faint glow, was just visible. And so was the outline. A head. Shoulders. A figure, silhouetted against the glass. Looking in. Frozen, heart hammering, Maya tried to scream. Tried to move. Nothing. Sleep paralysis. The figure pressed a hand to the window. 5 long fingers. Too long. Then it leaned forward. Slowly. and smiled. She woke the next morning screaming. Her neck ached. Her sheets were damp with sweat. It must have been a dream. She approached the window, hands trembling. The smudge was gone. In its place, pressed faintly into the outside glass, was a handprint. Larger than hers. Human shape, but off. The fingers were longer than any hand should be. Maintenance said it was impossible. There's no scaffolding outside that wall. No ledge. Nothing but glass and a 140-foot drop. They wiped the print. She installed curtains. That night, she locked every door, shut the blinds, took sleeping pills. Still, at 3 a.m. sharp, she awoke. This time, unable to breathe. The room was freezing. The curtains, she had closed them, hadn't she? Were now open. The figure was closer than before. Its face nearly pressed to the glass. Maya stared. It stared back. Its eyes glowed. Then, a knock. From inside the room. She turned her head, slowly, toward her bedroom door. It was open. The air moved behind her. And in the glass reflection, she saw it. Not outside the window anymore. It was behind her. Maya doesn't remember screaming. Or running. She remembers waking up in the hospital, dehydrated, incoherent. The paramedics said a neighbor heard her yelling through the wall at 3:07 a.m. The apartment was found in chaos. Furniture overturned. Curtains shredded. But the window was locked from the inside. No forced entry. Nothing on the security cameras. Except for one frame at 3:04 a.m. A face, pressed against the hallway camera. Wide, smiling. Inhuman. It vanished before the next frame. Maya moved. Changed her name. Lives in a basement apartment now. No windows. But some nights, at 3 a.m., she swears she
Paralysis log 07. It's 3 a.m. You open your eyes. You can't scream. You can't move. The shadow of the wall doesn't match your body. At first, you think it's just your silhouette, stretched by moonlight through the blinds. But as your eyes adjust, something doesn't add up. Your body is lying flat, paralyzed. The shadow is sitting up. Its head is tilted, like it's listening. You feel pressure at the base of your spine and unnatural tension that rises, vertebra by vertebra, until it reaches your skull. Like something climbing inside you, learning how to wear your weight. You try to scream. Your jaw refuses. The shadows doesn't. Its mouth opens wide, too wide, and from it, a long, slow rasp fills the room. Like it's breathing in your air. Your energy. Your shape. You realize it isn't mimicking you. It's replacing you. The shadow turns its head, your head, and looks over its shoulder. At you. Not through the wall. Not toward the window. But directly into your eyes, like it knows you're still inside. And then, slowly, deliberately, it begins to stand. The real you stays limp. But the shadow moves. It raises a hand. The wrong hand. It doesn't match your arm at all. It places the hand on the wall and begins pulling itself free. Not just separating from you, but tearing out of the wall, out of the dimension that holds light and shape together. Your breathing shortens. The room tilts. The shadow, your shadow, is now halfway into the room, a dark, rippling silhouette with depth, substance, and weight. And a smile. A cool, satisfied smile where no mouth should be. Then it climbs onto the bed. You feel its weight pressing into the mattress beside you. The sheets tighten. The fabric creaks. It leans its face inches from yours and whispers, "I've waited long enough." Your lips part involuntarily. Not to speak, but to let something in. You feel it crawling down your throat. Cold. Slick. Ancient. Then, you're awake. You jerk upright. The room is normal again. But the shadow on the wall? Still sitting. Still smiling. Not my room. Sleep paralysis log 06. It's 3 a.m. You open your eyes. You can't scream. You can't move. And something's wrong. This isn't your room. The walls are too close. The ceiling is too low. The bed is too narrow. And the air smells stale, like dust and mothballs and something rotten beneath the floorboards. But you're still lying there, frozen. You try to tell yourself it's a dream. A false awakening. Maybe your mind created this place. Then you notice the mirror on the wall across from you. It's old. Cracked. Ornate. A gold frame shaped like twisting vines. And in it, you see the bed. The floor. The low ceiling. But you don't see yourself. Someone else is lying in the reflection. Someone thinner. Older. Pale skin stretched tight, eyes wide open and rolled up white. You can't scream. But the reflection does. It starts writhing, silently, mouth open in a perfect O of terror. And then, slowly, it looks at you. Not at the ceiling. Not at the room. At you. Like it knows you're there inside its body. Like it feels your presence the way you feel a spider crawling across your skin. You want to shut your eyes, but they won't obey. In the mirror, the figure twitches hard. Bones cracking. Joints snapping out of place. Then it begins to levitate, just slightly, hovering an inch above the mattress, fingers curled like claws. And it whispers, in a gravel voice, "Get out. Get out. Get out." Then the lights flicker. The mirror cracks again, more deeply. You hear a door slam, though you didn't see one. And then, you feel it too. Something else in the room. A presence, like pressure on your chest, like being buried alive in someone else's grave. From the shadowed corner, a shape emerges, just a blur at first, then more distinct. A man. But not quite. His limbs are too long. His eyes are stitched shut. His mouth is sewn open, threads pulling the corners into a grotesque smile. And he walks directly to the bed. You can't move. The mirror version of you starts screaming now, flailing, trying to escape, but the body doesn't obey. And the struggling man leans down. Your skin. He places one hand on your chest, and both versions escape on the reflection and begins to push. You feel your heart start. You feel your breath. Where a face should be, there's only a flat surface, no mouth, no nose, just two black, recessed eyes that look like holes burnt into its skull. And it's looking straight at you. The seconds drag. You can't blink. And neither does it. Then it shifts. Barely. Just a slight turn of its head. And you hear something. Not with your ears, but with your mind. Like a word forced through your thoughts. You see me now. The paralysis deepens. Your breath shallows. You can feel your heartbeat in your throat, in your ears, even in your teeth. It begins to move slowly, one limb at a time, dragging itself along the wall without ever standing fully upright. You can't turn your head, but your eyes follow it as it glides along the edge of the room, staying just within the shadows. You expect it to vanish, to slink away. But it doesn't. It creeps to the foot of your bed and stops. Then it rises. The cracking of joints is deafening into silence, like wood snapping in a fire. It stands fully now, taller than the ceiling should allow, its head crooked sideways to fit. And it leans down. Still silent. Still staring. Then it reaches out and presses its hand over your chest. And suddenly, you can't breathe. Not just can't move, can't inhale. Like something is pulling the air directly from your lungs, stealing it inch by inch. The room begins to dim. Your vision swims. And the creature tilts its head farther, impossibly far, almost upside down now. You invited me, it says. You don't remember inviting anything. You don't remember asking. But part of you knows. You did. Somewhere. In a dream. In a whisper. In a thought you never finished. The last thing you see before your vision blackens is its face splitting open, not with a mouth, but with more eyes, all opening wide across its head and shoulders, blinking in chaotic, hungry rhythms. Then, you wake up. Gasping. Alive. Free. It's morning. You stumble out of bed, knees weak, and run to the corner of the room where it had crouched. Nothing's there. But on the wall behind it, scratched into the paint, are 4 words. You let me in. Visitor at the window. Sleep paralysis log 04. It's 3 a.m. You open your eyes. You can't scream. You can't move. And someone is tapping on your window. Tap. 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 You live on the 3rd floor. Your body lies frozen, eyes wide, locked on the window across the room. The blinds are halfway closed, slanted just enough to show the silhouette behind them. It's tall. Too tall. Its head almost brushes the top of the window frame. One long finger, far too long, is tapping the glass at perfect intervals, like a metronome. Steady. Intentional. It knows you're awake. Your mind races. No ladder. No ledge. Nothing out there but 30 feet of air. But still it taps. Your eyes sting from not blinking. Your legs scream to move. But your body stays still, heart punching your ribs like it's trying to get out first. The tapping stops. You blink, just once. When your eyes reopen, the blinds are open pulled all the way to the top. And it's not outside anymore. It's in the room. Not standing. Hanging. Its body is suspended just inches above the ground, like it's been dropped in from above. Its arms dangle too far down. One hand touches the floor. And its head isn't right. It's slightly too small, like a shrunken thing stuffed into a human frame. Its skin is pale, but stretched tight over bone, and its mouth is stitched shut with black thread. It hovers forward, drifting like it's underwater, until it's at the side of your bed. It doesn't breathe. But you do. And it listens. It tilts its head, the way a dog might when it's trying to figure out a new sound. And then it raises one arm and touches your face with the back of its long, cold hand. The thread in its mouth twitches. Then it grabs your jaw. Not hard. Not yet. But you feel the pressure. The control. And that's when it opens its mouth, not by cutting the thread, but by splitting the seam down the middle. Like peeling back to its skin. Inside are more eyes. Too many. Blinking in random, unnatural rhythms, all of them locked on you. You want to scream, but your voice is a dead thing in your throat. Then it speaks. From somewhere behind you. A voice that feels like it's coming through the walls, or from beneath the bed, or deep inside your own head. I found a way in. You blink again. It's gone. You sit up, finally able to move. The window is closed. Blinds down. No trace of anything. Except your jaw aches. Like something had been holding it for too long. You get up and walk to the mirror. And that's when you see it. One single black thread hanging from the corner of your mouth. Under the bed. Sleep paralysis log 03. It's 3 a.m. You open your eyes. You can't scream. You can't move. And something is breathing beneath your bed. Not the slow rhythm of sleep. Not the gentle sigh of a pet. This is wet. Erratic. Animalistic. Like someone is choking back laughter or trying not to vomit. You try to tilt your head, just enough to see over the edge. You can't. Not even an inch. Your eyes dart toward the open door across the room. But it's closed now. You never close it. Not even in winter. You hate feeling sealed in. The last thing you remember before falling asleep was the hallway light still spilling in. Now, there's nothing but dark. Except under the bed. There's a sliver of faint orange glow spilling out from beneath the mattress, like a nightlight is tucked somewhere it shouldn't be. And that's when you notice the whispers. Fast. Repetitive. Like chanting. Like instructions. You strain to make them out. Stay still, stay still, stay still. The voice is thin. Childlike. But wrong. It skips and stutters like a broken record, like someone trying to remember how words work. Then, a single tap against the wood slats below you. You hold your breath. Another tap. Then the mattress shifts. Just barely. But enough to feel it. Something is crawling up through the inside of the bed. You try to move your arm. It twitches. But your fingers won't respond. You're locked in place, completely conscious, but totally possessed by gravity. The whisper changes. Found you. And suddenly, your whole bed drops a violent lurch, like it was just yanked an inch downward. The light beneath you flickers. You hear it climb higher, fabric stretching and creaking as it presses against the box spring just beneath your back. Then you feel it. Two hands, small, cold, childlike, press upward through the mattress, fingers spread, one on either side of your spine. They don't move. They just stay there. Then something speaks from directly under your ear, muffled through fabric and skin. It's warmer inside you. You can't scream, but tears spill sideways down your face. Then it goes quiet. No more breath. No more tapping. No light beneath the bed. You pray it's over. After a long, paralyzing silence, your body releases. You bolt upright, heart hammering in your throat. The door is open again. Your room is normal. You almost laugh until you feel it. Your mattress. There's something still under it. Something breathing. You get out of bed and tear away the sheets in blind panic. Nothing there. Then, underneath the bed frame, you see a toy you've never owned. A stuffed bear. Its face is torn off. And in its chest, something is moving, pulsing, like it's breathing through the stuffing. You run. And from under the bed, the childlike voice returns, so faint it barely registers. Come back. You're warm. The man on the ceiling. Sleep paralysis log 02. It's 3 a.m. You open your eyes. You can't scream. You can't move. And there's something above you. Not over you. Above. On the ceiling. At first, your brain tells you it's a shadow, maybe a water stain, or a trick of the light. But it's like an insect trying to remember all its parts. The thing clings to the ceiling directly above your bed. It clings slowly, crawling upside down, and looks like mentally watch. Then the moment. You can't see its face. Only the wiry black hair moving straight down toward you, between your chest. Its fingers twitch. But no you're awake. Your lungs clench as you try to breathe quietly, desperately hoping it doesn't notice. But it already has. You realize it now. It's been waiting. The worst part? You see this movie. Not only life, but in your dreams. Countless ones. A figure crawling just out of reach, whispering through cracks in the wall. You always thought it was just a nightmare. Something buried by morning. But now it's here. And you brought it with you. The thing you want to begins to deliver itself, its words. Not climbing down, but breaking down like it's going to come down like in the ocean. Stop in the space of itches. Now you see its eyes. There you are. Same color. Same lashes. Same motion. But wide open. Like the face wearing your expression. Its jaw creases slowly. A cry sound like a door being pried off rusty hinges. You expect a hiss, a scream, or a word. Instead, it's in. Not out. In. It draws in your breath. You feel your chest deflate involuntarily, like air is being stolen from your lungs. Then, finally, it speaks, mouth moving slow and glacial inches from your nose. You never left the dream. Suddenly, you see your room again. But something's wrong. It's brighter. Not lit, just pale. And the air has weight, like water pressing down on you. The posters on your walls are upside down. Your alarm clock blinks unreadable symbols. And that thing you, or the version of you, has vanished. You think you've woken up. You try to move. And this time, you can't. You sit up, heart racing, lungs wheezing. Everything feels real. The world returns. Your room, your bed, your door. You blink. relief flooding you. Then you hear the soft sound of fingernails tapping. Not on the floor. From above. You tilt your head back and see your own face, staring back from the ceiling, smiling. The mirror at the foot of the bed. It's 3 a.m. You open your eyes, but you can't scream. You can't move. And there's something standing over you. At first, the shape doesn't make sense. It's tall, thin, featureless, almost like a coat rack tipped with shadows. But you don't own a coat rack. And even if you did, it wouldn't be standing at the foot of your bed, rocking ever so slightly side to side. Your eyes flick to the mirror on your closet door. It's angled toward the end of the bed, and in it, you can see yourself lying there, stiff as a corpse. But you're not alone. Behind your reflection stands the same shape, but in the mirror, it's closer. Looming over your reflection, leaning down like it's whispering into your ear. You feel nothing. You hear nothing. But your eyes water from fear. You try to scream. Your throat locks. Your chest feels crushed. You want to blink to break the spell, but even that simple act is stolen from you. Then the figure moves. Not in the room. In the mirror. It raises a hand long and wrong and touches your reflection's face. Softly. Like a parent caressing a sleeping child. You feel it. Ice-cold pressure dragging down your cheek. In the real room, the shadow remains still. Only the reflection moves now. The mirror version of you opens its eyes. You didn't. Its mouth twitches. It's smiling. Suddenly, it sits up, moving fluidly, too fluidly, while your real body remains frozen. The reflected figure turns its head to look straight into your real eyes, and then steps out of the mirror. You hear nothing. But you feel the bed sink as something crawls across the mattress, breathing over your face, hot and damp and ancient. A voice finally breaks the silence, hissing like steam behind your ear. You're better this way. Your body jolts. You sit up, gasping, drenched in sweat. The room is dark. Quiet. Empty. But the mirror? The reflection is still lying down. And it's smiling. Don't look in the mirror. Sleep paralysis log 10. It's 3 a.m. You open your eyes. You can't scream. You can't move. And your reflection is blinking at you. You sleep with a mirror across the room. Not for vanity, just convenience. You don't think about it much. Until now. Because as your eyes crack open in the dim blue light of your room, the first thing you see is your reflection. Lying in bed. Staring back. But it blinks. Before you do. Once. Then again. Then it smiles. Your real face stays frozen. Blank. Motionless. But your reflection? It moves. Its arm lifts, waving at you slowly, then pointing down to something beside your bed. You can't look. You can't move your neck, but you can feel it. A presence, breathing, close enough to kiss you. The mattress doesn't dip. There's no noise, but the reflection is now sitting up, getting out of bed. You watch, helpless, as it walks across the mirror's surface like stepping across a window pane. Then it stops, and begins to push. The glass ripples. It presses one hand through the mirror, fingers stretching out into the room. Black, rotting nails. Veins like vines beneath translucent skin. Your chest tightens. Still paralyzed. The hand reaches your foot. Slides up your leg. You feel it. Really feel it. The cold. The weight. The wrongness. Then its face begins to come through. Not yours anymore. Twisted. Distorted. Like your own face, but melted, duplicated, stretched sideways like wax left too close to flame. And from its cracked mouth, it whispers, "I'm what you'd look like if you never woke up." You feel it pulling at your soul now, like something is trying to yank you back through the mirror. To take your place. And just when it leans in, nose almost touching yours, its eyes boring into you. You wake up. Sit bolt upright. Gasping. Shaking. The mirror is across the room, just like always. But there's a crack in the center of it now. A perfect handprint. Pressed from the inside. The thing that wakes up first. Sleep paralysis log 09. It's 3 a.m. You open your eyes. You can't scream. You can't move. But something else in the room already has. There's a sound, breathing. Not yours. It's wet. Fast. Unstable. Coming from just beside the bed, near your head. You try to stay calm. You try to reason. But the fear is already there. Not just fear of being paralyzed, fear that you were too late. That whatever watches you at 3 a.m. didn't wait for you to wake up this time. You hear a shift. Fabric dragging over floor. Feet scraping. And then weight on the mattress beside you. The bed dips slightly. Once. Then again. Something is crawling in. Your heart pounds so hard you're afraid it might explode, but your body remains completely still. It gets closer. You can't see it, not fully, but from the corner of your eye, you glimpse it. A small figure. Almost child-sized. Pale, damp skin. No eyes, just deep sockets. And a grin too wide, like its jaw was broken open to let it stretch farther than it ever should. And then it lies beside you. Not over you. Not under the bed. Right next to you. You feel its breath on your cheek. Hot. Sticky. It nestles in, head on your pillow. Then it speaks. I was here first. You want to scream. You want to vomit. You want to disappear. But it wraps its arms around you. Thin, twitching limbs that tremble like a dying insect. You took too long to wake up, it whispers. So I started without you. Then something horrifying happens. Your arm moves. But not because you control it. The creature's hand slides down your side, and your left arm lifts, twitching unnaturally, curling in to wrap around the thing. It giggles. It's inside your body. Controlling it. Testing it. Your lips move next slowly, unnaturally, forming a smile that doesn't belong to you. And the creature murmurs. Let's see how long you can stay awake next time. Then darkness. When you jolt up, it's morning. You're drenched in sweat. You want to believe it was a dream. But your arm? It's still resting on the empty side of the bed. Still curled like it's holding something. And your cheek? There's a wet handprint on it. Whispers under the bed. Sleep paralysis log 08. It's 3 a.m. You open your eyes. You can't scream. You can't move. And something is whispering your name from under the bed. You hear it clear as day. It's not a breath. It's a key. The voice is thin and raspy, like a little whisper clenches. You try to move your head, listening to anything, but your muscles remain tight. You tell yourself it's your imagination. A dream. And you go through your skull. And then it speaks again. I've been waiting for you to open your eyes. It's closer now. Right now. You want to believe it's just the creaking of the wood or running in place. But you can feel it in your bones. This is the presence, not a sound. Something real. Something watching. Then a scratch. Slow. Deliberate. Something drags along the wood into your side of the bed, right below you. Scratch. 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 Then silence. Until you never check. When did you ever check? A cold gust of air brushes your face like that. You want to cry out, but your mouth can't. Your fingers feel. Your feet feel. Like something is gripping your ankles underneath the couch. And then a finger poking up from underneath the bed, prodding your lower back gently, almost playfully. Then another, and another. 5 fingers spreading across your spine. You can't move. You can't scream. And it begins to press. The weight grows. You hear it whisper again, voice now inside your head. If I push hard enough, maybe I can get in. Your vision darkens at the edges. Your breath shudders. You try to resist, mentally, spiritually, however you can, but the pressure is building. Something's coming up through the mattress. Through your skin. Through your soul. Then, your body jerks. You're free. You scramble off the bed in a panic, heart hammering, hands shaking. There's nothing under it. But as you crouch down to check, something whispers in your ear. Told you you'd look eventually. You leap back. No one's there. But carved into the wooden floor beneath your bed, in long, deep claw marks, are the words, "See you again tomorrow."